But again, I'm going to knock this guy out and probably create one of the most viral knockouts in the history of.
Press conference was a little weird yesterday.
It was all weird.
It was awkward.
Yeah.
Why they gotta make it so weird, Jim?
Why they make it weird, bro? Why are they making it weird all the time? It was strange all the way around.
Yeah.
Who's this appealing to? Who do you think the target market is? Just
I mean,
freak show.
We're older, so I can't speak on the new generation. Where maybe the Jake Paul stuff does interest them, so obviously it's gonna appeal to them. I don't know what way this appeals as far as that press conference, but
it's actually embarrassing just to see what Tank chose to do instead of doing what a real fighter should have done. Everybody seen what happened. Everybody seen that Roach deserved to be champion. He should have given him that rematch. That fight is the one that should be happening. There's no way. For me, it's embarrassing just to see that. But I go back to the same thing. It's business. He's making a lot of money. I have a lot of fighters. I have people involved in boxing that I'm one phone call away. But personally, I'm not okay with that fight. I think Tank should be fighting Roach and giving us that fight because that's what we all want.
I always said he's looking for fights that were manufactured, looking for fights that were predetermined. And by that, I don't mean fake fights. I don't mean fixed fights. I mean fights where the odds are so stacked in his favor that, of course, he's going to win. And, of course, we see this. The latest match that's going to go down November 14th at the State Farm, say Tank Davis. A man that is a lightweight in boxing. Now, lightweight in MMA is 155 pounds. Lightweight in boxing, 135 pounds. Jake Paul, I think when he weighed in for Mike Tyson, was 227 pounds.
Official weight, 227.2 pounds.
That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference. Almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage, which is absolutely ridiculous. How can you be out there claiming to want to fight the best people on the planet and then going out there and taking on a guy that is maybe 92 pounds heavier, that is at least 65 pounds heavier than you? That is called one thing. That's called being a...
You've seen plenty of hype in boxing before, but few buildups have felt this chaotic. Jake Paul walked into the spotlight with confidence, promising a finish so brutal it could rattle the entire sport. His words weren't empty, they carried the kind of bravado that left the room buzzing. Yet the reaction wasn't universal excitement. For every cheer, there was a groan. For every believer, there was a critic ready to dismantle the spectacle. Paulie Malignaggi was one of the first to throw cold water on it. This is a circus, dude. This is a sad, absolute circus. This is like the Roman circus where they say, give them bread and circuses and distract them. Like, this is just one of those complete distractions from reality. His words didn't just attack the fight, they questioned its very purpose. To him, the whole event was less about boxing and more about keeping fans hooked on theater. That skepticism only grew when the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission refused to sanction the fight, forcing the spectacle to move to Miami. If that wasn't enough drama, Jake escalated things further at the press conference. By bending down in Gervonta Tank Davis's face, mocking his height, and turning the face-off into open disrespect, he made it personal. The crowd erupted, and what had felt like hype quickly turned into raw hostility. Even Malignaggi couldn't help pointing out the awkwardness of the event itself. The press conference was a little weird yesterday. It was all weird. It was awkward. Why they got to make it so weird, Jimmy? Why they make it weird, bro? Why do they make it weird all the time? It was strange all the way around. Who's this appealing to? Who do you think the target market is? Freak show. His reaction summed up the disconnect. To some, it looked like a big fight. To others, a sideshow designed to sell clicks. Trainer Robert Garcia didn't mince words either, blasting Tank's decision to even entertain the matchup. It's actually embarrassing just to see what Tank chose to do, instead of doing what a real fighter should have done. Roach deserved to be champion. He should have given him that rematch. That fight is the one that should be happening. To Garcia, This wasn't greatness, it was business dressed up as boxing.
What don't you understand about this? If you want respect from your peers, if you want everyone on the planet to look at you and take you seriously and give you credit as a boxer, you have to take on challenges that are real. You have to go up against someone that keeps you up at night, against someone that gets you out of bed in the morning to go for a run because the fear of them beating you down is real. Not going up against someone that is so small. If you were to go up to this guy in a bar and try and start a fight with them, people would look at you and say one word: whoa, 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 stop being such a bully. Leave him alone. You are way bigger than this guy. And that's clearly what we have here. It is ridiculous. Of the tape. Gervonta Tank Davis, granted, a very, very skilled boxer, a world champion. He's had some great wins. He's had a tremendous career. He's got 28 knockouts on his record. I'm just looking at the tail of the tape here. 30 years old, Jake Paul, 28. Gervonta Davis is 5'5" tall, whereas Jake Paul is 6'1". I would never dream on picking on a guy that is 5'5" tall. Granted, there's some tough guys out there that are 5'5", okay? They're smaller guys, you know, but for 5'5", they'll pack a good punch. Typically, they're mixed martial artists or boxers, yeah. But when you're a boxer that's 6'1", that's only had one loss on the record, of course, Tommy Fury, doesn't want to face him again. Picking on a guy that small would be laughable. It would be embarrassing.
Yeah, no, I'm locked in. I know this is my toughest fight. He's undefeated, highly skilled, most experienced fighter I've fought, top 5 pound for pound. So I have to have the best version of myself. I know how fast he is. I know how strong he is. I believe I'm stronger, more athletic, and that's my advantage going into the fight. But he pretty much has every other advantage. So I'm locked in, fully focused, feeling amazing already, and just going to put on a performance and have the biggest fight of 2020. Oh, absolutely. Tank's gonna be the one surviving. I'm gonna, upset a lot of people. And again, they're going to have to say that there's some crazy excuse, fights are rigged. They can't use the steroid excuse because we have full-on random drug testing at any time. They could literally knock on my door right now. So they can't use that excuse. And obviously I'm suing people who say that the fights are rigged. Piers Morgan already had to retract his statement and kiss the ring. More lawsuits are coming for these people who are lying on my name because it's just simply not true, and we're willing to prove that in court. But I'm actually flattered that the only thing that people can chalk up these wins to is that the fights are rigged, because it's honestly the greatest
Michael Bisping added another layer, targeting Jake Paul's strategy. Because I always said he's looking for fights that were manufactured, looking for fights that were predetermined, where the odds are so stacked in his favor that of course he's going to win. Then he broke down the glaring size gap. Gervonta Tank Davis, 135 pounds. Jake Paul, 227.2 pounds. That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92 pounds weight difference. Almost 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. For Bisping, this wasn't a fight. It was bullying disguised as competition. Jake, of course, saw it differently. Yeah, I know, I'm locked in, and I know this is my toughest fight. He's undefeated, highly skilled, most experienced fighter I've fought, top 5 pound for pound. So, I have to have the best version of myself.
We got Jake Paul and Tank about to do a rematch. Do an exhibition or whatever. Boxing's just in a crazy place right now, where a world-ranked cruiserweight says he wants to fight tougher fights is about to fight a lightweight. You know what I mean? So, whatever. I mean, there's money involved. Jake Paul's a social media star. In other words, in essence, he's an attention whore. It's just what it is. It's not that he's a professional attention whore. Great promoter though. I'll give him his credit, what he's doing for the ladies and stuff. Amanda Serrano is long overdue the attention she's been getting as of late. And shout out to all the ladies that's getting a chance. So promoter Jake Paul has my respect. Fighter Jake Paul, not as much, just because. I mean, bro, you say one thing when you do, but you do another. You can make these fights. You the money. You the money. Any of those guys in the cruiserweights in the top 15 would fight you just because they know they'll get some money. You know what I mean? But this is stuff you want to do. Hey, look. Tank. No matter, Tank is what, 31 years old. Deep down, he's still that kid that came up real rough in Baltimore. If he feels like somebody's trying to hurt him or take something from him, he gonna do what he got to do. He gonna do what he got to do. He gonna do what he know how to do. And I mean, you know, Jake's a big boy. He probably not gonna have no problem. Tank's probably not gonna have a problem trying to hit him as hard as he can because he probably thinks I gotta hit this bama because he's too big. Yeah. He's too big. I can't let him just press me out like that. But I mean, like I said, I don't know. It's a circus. It's a circus.
Great matchup. It's fun for the sport of boxing. It makes it fun. It makes it entertaining. That's what it's all about. You know, and may the best man win. It's an exhibition regardless.
I don't even know what to think right now. I don't even know what to think. Maybe Tank has an unreal boxing ability and Jake Paul is really big. But the last time I said somebody was going to be bigger, they weren't that much bigger. But I think in this case, somebody's actually a lot bigger.
He doubled down by insisting Tank would be the one surviving on fight night, brushing off accusations of rigged fights or shortcuts. Not everyone agreed. Fighters like Michael Fox dismissed it as a circus, painting Jake more as a promoter than a legitimate contender. Others, like Teofimo Lopez, leaned into the entertainment angle, calling it fun for the sport. Raleigh Romero admitted he didn't know what to think, torn between Tank's skill and Jake's size. That's where you're left watching a storm of hype, criticism, and unanswered questions. Is this a real fight, or just another spectacle wrapped in boxing gloves? Can Tank's skill erase a massive size disadvantage, or will Jake's power prove too much? Whatever the answer, one thing is certain. The eyes of the sport are locked on this moment, waiting to see whether it's genius matchmaking or a disaster waiting to happen.